Speaker, my question is directed to the Minister of Labour, Public Service and Social Welfare, if not his deputy, if not the lead of government business, pertaining to a final resolution on the welfare of the civil servants, particularly the teachers. What is government doing to ensure that this comes to a logical conclusion?
Honorable Minister, the question is, what is being done in order to address the issue of the welfare of teachers?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think most of the issues which were affecting the teachers were addressed. The teachers were awarded 75 US for COVID allowance, and then on top of that, they were given 100 US to supplement on their salary. And above that, they were given 20% increment. In addition to that, again, the government is going to take 3 kids to school, biological kids. The government is going to pay for the 3 kids. And the other, which is very important, was stated again to the teachers. They are going to get duty-free vehicles. That scheme was already there, but it's going to be speeded up so that teachers will get their vehicles as soon as they pay for those vehicles. They get duty-free. And let me just think, there may be another question as to those who could not turn up for duty. They've been given up to 22 February, so that don't turn up for duty up to 22 February, then they are deemed they've been fired by the public service. And those who are going to school and just sit without teaching will also be treated the same. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
On a supplementary, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Supplementary.
On a supplementary. Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir. Oh, good, the minister has spoken about the package, but as usual, nothing gets to the people. The 75 US dollar allowance, the 100 US dollar allowance baffles my mind when the government has got RT just Zimbabwe dollar. So they seem to have more US dollars than the Zimbabwe dollar. Is government not supposed to pay them in RTGS? Because by paying them in US dollars, you are more or less saying that the US dollar is the currency of the day. And it invites a further question that why don't we dollarize? But more important, why has the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education fired the teachers when the minister himself has admitted that the Public Service Commission is responsible for that? The firing of the teachers is by the Public Service Commission, not the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education. I need him to clarify that, and I hoped the minister himself of public, in charge of the Public Service Commission, was to issue a statement, or Mr. Vincent Hungwe, who is the key person there. So there is some confusion. Who do they report to? Who fires them?
On the first part of firing, I thought the Honorable Deputy Minister was very clear. He said, all those that may suffer some disciplinary action are given up to the 22nd of February. So no action has been taken so far. So wait for 22 February and see what happens.
But Mr. Speaker, say the brain drain that we talk about in the country is a result of government being heavy-handed in firing teachers and nurses, yet we talk about a brain drain. These people have worked selflessly for good results under tough conditions.
Until the 22nd of February.
Some have been suspended. Mr. Speaker, some in my constituency have been...
Civil servants.
But Mr. Speaker,
There's no debate on that one.
Mr. Speaker, some have been fired, suspended in my constituency. For example, Mr. Shamu of Imbai Primary School.
$US and RTGS.
Thank you, Honorable. This call, I think the government was responding to the request which was put forward by the different unions. So I think teachers and the civil servants have been appealing for a mixed decade so that they are not affected by the fall Zim dollar. And I think we can thank the government for providing such a good reward. I don't think the forward will get teachers complaining. But as our economy improves, I think we should go back to our Zim dollar.
Supplementary.
So it is an admission, Mr. Speaker, say clarity. It's an admission that the Zim dollar has failed. The US dollar is stronger. So why don't you just pay them in US all the way?
Honorable Mliswa.
On a point of clarity, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Chidagwa.
Honorable Chidagwa, please listen carefully to the responses by the Honorable Minister. If the teaching fraternity has agreed to the mixed bag, what more is required?
Mr. Speaker said they have not agreed. It's being imposed on them. They would like to be given in US dollars. There's no agreement, Mr. Minister. Mr. Speaker said.
A written question for further clarification next week.
Why don't we get a ministerial statement from the minister, Mr. Speaker said?
Recognize the honorable member there.
Honorable Maposa.
Huh?
Maposa.
Maposa.
Mr. Speaker, sir, can we get a ministerial statement from the minister?
Honorable Mliswa, I've advised you to put your question in writing. It will be dealt with accordingly. For next week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My supplementary to the minister is